big round of applause for the drivers. How you doing?
Good, how are you? Hi, folks. Thank you.
I'm doing great. We've had many weekends, many weeks. We've had some real good luck with the weekend before the driver either one or the next weekend. So I guess we should have probably had you before, before Martinsville. But before we
That's just
unveil
bad
something,
scheduling on my part, I think.
well, either on our part, but we've also had some luck with guys winning the following week.
Okay, there you go. Let me tell you, if
So
we
we
win in
next
Phoenix,
week?
I'm coming back next week because I think we've got a great shot to win Homestead. We tested very well there, but I will admit Phoenix, since they repaved, is not our best track. Not saying we can't win there, but it's going to take some work. But I think we can put a solid finish together there for sure. But I'm pretty excited about Homestead.
What is it about Phoenix that's changed?
Yeah, they just repaved it, and when they repaved it, they reconfigured it slightly. So it's a little bit faster, but it's, the biggest thing is just now with the new surface that's going down on tracks that are repaving, in recent years, the surface it's tighter, it's smoother, it creates more friction, and it's got good grip, but Goodyear has to build an extremely hard tire to keep it from wearing too much or building too much heat and failing. And so you're just sitting there real edgy, real edgy, just whether you're pushing the front or sliding the rear, just cars, it's tough to get the grip level that you want. But the track has aged the last couple of times we've been there. You go through some pretty harsh summers there in Arizona, and that weather like that can definitely age that track to make the grip give up a little bit.
Okay, Texas this past weekend wasn't the best one, but if we can cue a video, we want to take you back to something that was pretty special for Jeff Gordon. We can get you to watch. This is good.
Welcome to the Coca-Cola 600 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Almost a couple of 100,000 fans packing their way in here today to see the world's greatest hardtop drivers go 600 miles from an excess of $1.25 million.
Jeff Gordon, the pole sitter up there, taking the field down the back straightaway. And here comes Gordon right back, not willing to give an inch. You see Jeff Gordon, just 22 years old, and says he's already won 600 races.
I think if we could adjust on the car and it comes down to a shootout, Jeff Gordon with 10 laps, I'll put money on him.
Jeff Gordon in third spot. He finished second here 1 year ago. Here's Gordon coming on pit road.
I tried to get from Rick Hendrick what they were going to do. He said, I'll tell you after the stop. That's how late they are deciding what they are going to do. Two for Gordon.
So in that shakeout, Gordon takes first. Wallace Host second. Modine is third. Dale Jarrett fourth. Ricky Rudd falls in sixth, is just in front of Hurricane. Jeff Gordon seeking his first Winston Cup victory. White flag, 1 to go. Set on the pole at 181.439. He'll become only the 5th driver in 35 years to win from the pole. Checkers around, and it is Jeff Gordon victorious on this Memorial Weekend at the Charlotte Jeff Gordon.
You guys just say, stop it there so you don't have to see me cry.
We weren't going to be fast at the beginning, and we'd be there when it got dark and the lights came on. It's exactly what this thing did.
122,000 people, plus workers in the infield, paying their respects to a 22-year-old youngster originally out of California who simply loves to race.
There's a purpose to that.
Other than making me feel old. 22? My gosh, I've been doing this a long time, haven't I?
87 races later, 87 more victories. How many have been following the fact that we're getting ready to change out Glory Road? Nope. Right now we have just 1997 car that won the Daytona 500. Y'all are the first to know that this car from 1994 is another one of the cars that's going to go on Glory Road 2.0 that's going to be unveiled January the 11th. Big round of applause. The very first car that Jeff Gordon ever won in, and a huge thanks to Hendrick Motorsports. So that gives me chills.
It gives me chills, and I'm so appreciative of Hendrick Motorsports for holding on to that car. I mean,
We are too.
you know, I mean, we've got a few special cars over the years that they've held on to, but that one is very, very special. The thing that stood out the most to me from watching that video is when they said I sat on the pole at 181 miles per hour, and I just sat on the pole there a few weeks ago at like 195. So that tells you just how much faster we're going today than we used to.
Well, our objective with Glory Road 2.0, some of you may have heard this story, when Darrell Waltrip was getting inducted, he and I were standing up in the fan area, or the skybox area that overlooks Glory Road and the Great Hall, and he looks at it, he said, oh, that's going to be hard to equal or top that exhibit because we have so many iconic cars. So that's what our challenge has been with our exhibits team that Kevin Schleiser, Kevin Larrabee, Buzz McKim, and everybody has looked at. We announced that Buck Baker's car, that you have a history with Buck Baker, his 1957 Chevy is one of the cars that will be there. The second one that we've announced. So we hope that we're on the way. We're never going to try to top that exhibit, but if we can equal it, we'll be pretty pleased. And Jeff, congratulations for, again, having a place on Glory Road, because you definitely deserve it.
Well, thank you, and I'm very proud to be a part of Glory Road. That's amazing, especially with that car. Very memorable moment, my first ever win. So thank you. That's awesome.
Well, we're delighted to have it. I know Daphne's around. You get to start with a question that she may have from Twitter or Facebook, and then get questions from the fans.
This one coming from Facebook from Jeff Bryan. What other profession outside of racing would you be doing if racing was not an option?
Oh my goodness. I actually just got asked this question not too long ago. But so I grew up in California. My mom and my stepfather met working for a company that she was a secretary, and he was one of the fabricators. Where they built vehicles for handicapped individuals so they could drive. Maybe there were ramps where the wheelchairs could get up into a van or a vehicle, or they had hand controls, those types of things. And so that's how they met. And then they started their own business manufacturing these products. And so my childhood was growing up in this facility, or this shop that we had in Vallejo, California, machine shop, sweeping floors, breaking a lot of things. I was the worst employee. They would hire me, during the summers when I got a little bit older, and running the milling machines and the lathes and things like that. And it was always a job that I could do as a young kid. But I broke a lot of things, so I think I cost them more than I made them. But it was, I guess my point is that had we not gotten into racing, I think that business either would have led to something that I would have been involved with in that business, and it might very well have played a big role in what I do today for my foundation in wanting to give back to others, because I saw how this business that they had, how it helped people be mobile and get around that otherwise couldn't without these types of hand controls.
You mentioned your foundation. Talk a little bit about that and what it focuses on.
We focus on pediatric cancer, and that came from Ray Everingham. His son was diagnosed with leukemia right when this team was being built, the 2014. And obviously that's pretty devastating news, especially when you're getting ready to start a big part of your life and career in racing. And so that whole experience of what Ray and his family went through opened up my eyes to leukemia and lymphoma. And so we started doing things for Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, started a thing called Racing for a Reason. And over the years, just through Make-A-Wish Foundation, visiting hospitals, meeting more and more kids and families dealing with pediatric cancer, I wanted to dedicate my foundation to doing more for it.
Cool.
All right, we got Billy over here.
Who would you say is your biggest rival at the time?
Currently or of all time?
Currently.
Well, I think Jimmy Johnson's everybody's rival. that guy wins all the time, and if you can beat him, you're doing something. I mean, I guess me and Clint Boyer have a little bit of a rivalry now. You know, when I came into the sport, it seemed like that there were some ongoing rivalries, and built up a little bit of one with Dale Earnhardt Sr. and myself. But it really wasn't me and him, it was our fans. So I think the rivalry really is among you guys. You know, Chevy versus Ford, you know, Earnhardt versus Gordon, or I don't know what it may be, but we know rivalries are important, and sometimes they just happen, and other times they're built over time. But we all race 38 weeks out of the year against one another. We don't want enemies out there because that could prevent us from winning races and championships. So, but we need you guys to create the rivalries. So keep it going.
Right over here.
I have a question. Are you ever going to be on Regis and Kelly again?
I don't know. You know, once Michael filled in the co-hosting job and I was out of a job for that, then I don't know if they're coming around asking as much. But I had a lot of fun doing that show, and I get a lot of comments about doing it. When the right opportunity comes up, you know, then you know, I'd love to do it again. Wouldn't mind doing Saturday Night Live, or at least a little see it on there again too. That would be a lot of fun. With NBC coming back, I don't know. Maybe I can do a little Ricky Funk skit. Whole Ricky Funk back.
So you wouldn't do any dance moves?
Well, other than the Ricky Funk dance moves, if you ever
I'm
saw
talking about
that.
breakdancing.
Breakdancing, no, I'm done breakdancing. My back's about to break from breakdancing.
You going to the CMAs this year? Do a little skit?
No, it's been the craziest, busiest year this year, with testing, all the things we're doing for our sponsors, and then just the season in general. I'm looking forward to the off season coming and I've got to do a couple things for sponsors, the banquet, and then we're actually going to go to Paris. My family and I are going to go to Paris because my wife's from Belgium and we don't get to see her family now, so we'll be over there. But no plans for CMAs.
Tell them what you did last year. It was last year, wasn't it?
Was it last year or the year before?
They showed it on Good Morning America recently.
Brad Paisley and I are friends. He's been a longtime friend of Rick Hendricks. And so we started talking about doing it. He was hosting the CMAs and maybe doing something with me. And so a lot of people throughout the years before I ever met Brad said, "Anybody ever told you look like Brad Paisley? Put a cowboy hat on you. You resemble him." And so we had some fun with that. And I put a cowboy hat on and came out as him. And people seemed to like it. It was good fun. And then later I got to do a video. One of his videos, so it was a lot of fun too.
What is the weirdest thing you've autographed?
Somebody brought their school desk from an old school desk to I mean, it's not easy to get a school desk. You know, those old ones with the lids that lift up. I mean, they brought it to an autograph session. That was pretty strange. Have had a couple individuals take their prosthetics off. That I've autographed. That's pretty unique. And then I think the most unique is just autographing on somebody's shoulder, back, or leg where they have it tattooed in. These days what they do now is they say, okay, tattoo here, but then sign it on this piece of paper in case that doesn't last long enough for me to get to the tattoo artist. So that's an extreme situation of being a fan, in my opinion. There's a guy in Martinsville that comes every Martinsville race. He's got a mural. The whole half of his back is a mural of me, my car, championship trophies. It's pretty darn impressive.
I'm all the way in the back.
That's pretty neat.
We got Michael.
Where did you win your first race?
Well, my very, very first race, because we just saw the first Cup race in Charlotte, but my very first race I ever won was at a place called Rio Linda, California. It's near Sacramento, a little dirt track that I raced quarter midgets on. Would have been my first win.
Cool. And wow.
If you get that car, I'll be impressed.
Does it still exist?
Some people say it does. It doesn't exist in our garage.
Well, we'll save that for when you get inducted into the Hall of Fame.
All right, right over here.
Hi Jeff, my name's Lydia.
Hi.
Really big fan. I was wondering, I kind of wanted to make this question memorable because you get asked questions all the time. So what is a question that you've always wanted a fan or a member of the media to ask you that you've never been asked?
Well, shoot, that's your job. I have no idea. I've been asked a lot of questions. You're going to put me on the spot now. To me, anything that's just not the norm, of course, right now I don't want to get asked about Texas, but it's just things that are going on away from the track. I have no idea. I mean, who knows? That's the one you're going to stump me with. I can tell you that. I like to answer the questions, not come up with the questions. So I'm not really sure if I have a good answer for that one.
All right, we got our next question over here.
Hi, Jeff.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Very good.
What are you doing with all your grandfather clocks?
There's a good question. So there are 8 in existence. After this last one, my first thing was I went to my stepfather who runs my business, JG Inc., and said, where are all these grandfather clocks? Because I know Ray Evernham has one. I think Brian Weitzel, who was my crew chief for all 3 races, but we won 2 of them. So I think we gave one to him. I'm wondering if Robbie Loomis has one. And then the rest are between me and Rick. But, I've been waiting to figure out what I want to do with them, so we don't have them all sitting in one place. My house is not really a grandfather clock style of house, so I'm going to have to talk my wife into. I think now that we won 8 races at Martinsville, and that was a very special win, I think I might be able to talk her into bringing one home. The rest of them are Hendrick Motorsport.
If you're looking for storage places, I may know somebody that would
Yeah?
be glad to help you out.
I know
Just saying.
As long as you promise to keep it wound.
Squeeze one in my motor.
Hello, Jeff. Big fan. Followed you since the Baby Ruth Thunderbird, and would like to know which you prefer, Talladega or Daytona. I love Talladega, and I know you're really good there.
Yeah, well, nothing quite is like a win at Daytona, so I guess I'd want to win at Daytona, but I like racing Talladega a little bit more. It's a little bit wider. You don't have to worry about handling quite as much. Daytona is very fast, but it's narrow. It's extremely narrow racetrack, and I think that any of you have been there and done the little ride around the track that they have there, you ride. The first thing people say to me when they get on the track, they go, "Wow, I can't believe how narrow. I can't believe you're racing 3 wide, 4 wide at times around this racetrack at 200 miles per hour." It is extremely narrow, which also makes it very challenging. But Talladega is quite the opposite. It's big, wide, smooth, and fast, and a little bit easier to race at Talladega, not quite as hairy as it is at Daytona. But the Daytona 500 I think would sort of trump it.
Right over here.
I don't know if the party's as good as at Talladega.
Jeff, I'd like to ask you a question
Yes,
maybe
sir.
no one has ever asked you. Do you ever have any contact with your real father?
Yeah, I do, absolutely, all the time. My mom and he divorced at a very young age, and he came to races, when I was a kid. He also traveled around with work quite a bit around California, so we weren't around one another on a day-to-day basis. But I just spoke to him actually last week, so we were definitely in contact. He doesn't come back east very often, so usually I only see him when I'm out west.
All right, right over here.
What was your favorite championship of them all?
Oh man. Well, I don't know. It seems like every one of them gets sweeter. so 2001 was a good one. I mean, I think 95 stands out, being my first one, going up against Earnhardt. That was a fun battle, very meaningful, very, very, still held as this rivalry and a great battle. So that certainly helped you. The banquet was a lot of fun that year as well. But 2001 to me personally was very rewarding because you got to understand, as much as I love Ray and he's my buddy. I mean, we're still great friends, and he's just an awesome crew chief. But a lot of people back in those late '90s said, well, if it weren't for Ray, Jeff wouldn't win races, and he wouldn't be able to win a championship without him. 2001, with Robbie Loomis, we won the championship that year. Very rewarding, to me personally, to be able to go and win races and championships with someone, other than Ray. And Ray and I know that that's only a compliment to him, because I think we would have won a lot more championships had we stayed together. But so I think 2001 definitely stands out.
Hi, Jeff. With having an engineering degree from Penn State, what would be the best way for me to either get in with NASCAR or with your guys?
Yeah, you gotta go get a resume over there at Hendrick Motorsports. They take a lot of resumes on a daily basis. But yeah, that's where the sport is headed. It's all about engineering these days. What we're doing in computer simulation to create our setups, to create more downforce and speed in the cars. That's what's separating the top teams from the regular teams that are out there today. And that is all generated through engineering and the staff that we have. I bet when I first came to Hendrick, in '92, I bet we had a handful of engineers. I bet today we have 100 engineers. I mean, that's how important that role is. So you're doing the right thing, and it's not just in racing. So engineers are needed on many different levels. So put that resume in there. All right.
I'm a huge fan of you.
I can tell just the way you said that.
Yeah, first off, I love Talladega. Second, do you have any pet names for your car?
Pet names. Back in the day, and I don't know if that 1994 car has a name on it, but we used to have what we called the Killer Bees, and all of them were named with the letter B, and we used to name them on the hood. Of course, they've always been chassis numbers as well, and then the Ray, I think, really kind of started that, where they named the cars. We had Booker, and one was named after my ex-wife Brooker. We had Blacker, because that one was painted black when we went for a test. And so it was really fast, so they called it that. And Boomer, we had a bunch of. I don't know what year that started though, but we don't do that anymore. That's just chassis number. The cars used to drive a lot different between one another. Back then, we didn't have all the protocols in place. We didn't have templates and the things that we have today to be able to build a car identical one after another after another. You used to hear years ago, all the old school fans in here will understand, appreciate this, that if you pulled out a backup car at a racetrack, you were in trouble because the backup car was terrible. It was not a quality piece of equipment. It was something that had been torn up and just thrown back together and thrown in the truck, because your best car is the primary car. And these days, your backup car, it takes 10 minutes to get the car back on the track, or off the truck and on the track, which is amazing. But I could go out there and make my first lap as fast as I did the first lap of the car that we just had it in there, because you have so much confidence in it, because they're built so identical.
All right, we got time for two more.
My name is Stacia, and I'm also a huge fan.
Thank you.
Before I tell my question, can I give this to you?
Sure, what is it?
It's from my dad. He's from the Air Force.
Oh, wonderful.
It's
Come
a
on in.
challenge coin.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Oh, you can give me the coin first, then you can go back up and ask your question. Or just bring the microphone with you. Just start running the show, actually. Oh, there's a bear. I didn't say thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, it's a beautiful one.
And my question is, being from California, and I'm a California girl, how hard did you find it breaking to NASCAR with it being a southern sport?
It's a great question, and we're seeing a lot more Californians in the sport today than we used to, and so I think that it's really being recognized as a national sport, and certainly with its talents that are out there. It's about putting the best driver that you can possibly get behind the wheel, and they've got to be marketable. For me, back in those early 90s, I was actually living in Indiana. I was an open wheel driver, or a sprint cars midgets, and back then, maybe just a little bit prior to that, your goal was to try to make it to Indianapolis for the Indianapolis 500, and that's what I wanted to do. Even though I followed NASCAR, I didn't follow it as religiously as I did Indy cars. Rick Mears, AJ Foy, those guys were my heroes. But I quickly realized in racing around Indiana on these dirt tracks and having friends of mine that were very talented, trying to get to Indianapolis, that just wasn't the path anymore. It was changing. And so a great friend of mine, Larry Newber, who some of you may remember, an ESPN commentator, he also helped me out quite a bit. He said, go drive a stock car. You need to drive a stock car. NASCAR is where it's at, especially for you oval track guys. You'll like it. And I did it. I loved it. And I just pursued it. And luckily, people hired me. I didn't feel like they looked at me as, oh, he's from California, or he likes sprint cars and midgets. I'm not going to put him in our race car because this is a southern sport. I never felt that way. Now, as my popularity grew in the Cup Series, then I saw my fan base be more of a unique fan base to the sport, and the hardcore, longtime fans really following guys like Earnhardt and Russ, and some of the guys that had been in the sport for a long time. So I did see some of that, but for me personally, I just loved the opportunity and thought that stock cars were meant for me. I mean, when I got into it, I was like, everything I'd ever done, dirt track racing, all the oval track racing, really got me to here. And I don't know if that would have happened in Indy cars. So, great question. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the coin.
Last question up here.
With the little race car driver who's got a question.
What would be your advice for a young race car driver now? Could you give him any advice?
Sure. I mean, the advice is the same as it's always been, and that's, get started young, and they seem to be getting younger all the time these days. I got started in quarter midgets. Quarter midgets are still very popular, even though they've changed tremendously. They're popular, they're great, they're safe. So just try to find, you can go to QMA, Quarter Midgets of America. If that doesn't suit you in your area, then there's go-karts that are also, I race go-karts as well, also a lot of fun and great tool. But to me, it's at a young age, it's about doing something that is fun, is safe, organized. It's important to have organized events to put you in the class that you belong in, and make sure you're in the proper equipment and safe and all those things, and just have fun. It should be fun at an early age. And then if the competition starts to kick up and you see, all right, there's something special here that we're doing, we're winning races, then try to pursue it to the next level of whatever that may be. Bandoleros, or there's so many different forms of racing these days. But I love quarter midgets and go-karts. It's a great place to get started. And to me, I started at 5.5. That's you want to get started very, very early.
One of our Hall of Famers, Lee Petty, used to say, "I'd rather be lucky than good." We were good. We were lucky today, and I hope y'all see that. We've had 9 championships and 154 Cup wins represented in 2 drivers today. have a question for you. I know you guys are generally focused on the here and now and the next weekend. Have you ever taken a step back and thought, okay, and I can't say this, but with a handful of guys, and you're one of them just like Jimmy, and thought about your legacy and that day that you get in the NASCAR Hall of Fame, whenever it is?
Oh my goodness, you know, I mean, just seeing the names, you know, that have gone in and how prestigious it's become, and thank you, you know, and everyone at NASCAR Hall of Fame to create, you know, this environment and this special place for people to come and visit, but also to recognize those that have really paved the way for what is such an amazing sport. So I do know that whenever that day comes, it's going to be a very humbling, very proud moment, and one that I hope to take in fully through the whole experience, and have my family be right there with me. It'll be something very, very special.
Well, we look forward to it, but in the meantime, we look forward to taking you back in time to 1994 and highlight that the second car on Glory Road. Kip, thanks for being here. Congratulations on another great year.
Same things. And real quick, one thing you need to know, my kids come here all the time. You don't know it because they don't announce it. They just come. They love it here. They love it.
I saw you tweet out with you and Leo and your star up there. You guys just showed up that day?
I wasn't with them that day. Sometimes he comes with Ingrid, sometimes he come with Grandma, you know. But yeah, they just show up and they love it. It's a great place, and so they'll get a treat now the next time they come in when this car gets in there.
We'll have them here for you and David. Thanks a lot, Jeff.